quarter, you guys jumped out to that lead, end of the third, and then start of the fourth. They bounced back real quick. What do you think? What changed there?
You see it's tying up a little bit, right? Like we missed, just in that first 4-minute stretch, by the time I called my second timeout, I feel like I've counted, we had 4 missed layups. We had 2 threes that went and fell out the rim. And then we had confusion on our defensive coverage, something that we talked about at halftime that we really honed in on the third. And we went back to what our home base points were. We did a great job, and then suddenly we got some guys switching, some guys not, some guys late switching, blow-bys. Everything tightened up again. We had 2 missed dunks. I think that was in the third.
What do you put that stuff down to? 2 missed dunks in that third, where you guys 32-12 that third quarter, but you had missed dunks, missed layups. Put that down to anything?
It's just silly. It's just silly. It's just missed layups, and we got to do a better job of finishing, right? Like, there's guys that, like, for 3 quarters, right, we did a great job of staying in our disciplines, and I say that, like, that final stretch of 2.5 minutes, Taran picked up his third. There was confusion on the score bench with Rob Edwards. He had 3. We subbed him out and worked out he had 2, so we subbed him back in. But when Taran picked up his third, it was a 2.5 minute stretch where they go on a 12-2 run. Silly things. We have these lapses that are just extremely costly.
Were you largely happy with the process in this game? It's obviously a close game. Are you happy with the way you guys were on both ends generally?
Especially off the back of a road double. And again, we'll slow to get out the gates at the start, let Southeast really just capitalise on. It was all, the first quarter was all blow-bys and offensive rebounds, and that was quite nasty. And so, but we were able to score ourselves. The second quarter, we tidied it up. The third quarter, we really narrowed in on it. And again, even just like, the press break that we ran for 3 quarters, we suddenly stopped running. And then guys start doing things they think that are helping, that aren't helping. We just got to figure out how to, what's the worst? We're sitting bottom of the ladder. Just play the fourth quarter. What's the worst that's going to happen? The sun's still going to rise. We're still going to go through the day as per normal. We're just tightening up. We're desperate to get a win. We just need to play. And that's what you can feel in the fourth quarter. And just got to be relaxed. Just play. Who cares?
And I guess, you had when you have the momentum like that, is that one of the things that you're sort of trying to work out how you're able to capitalise on that? Because, hitting that final quarter, it just seemed like it was going to be Cairns by how much, but then just that, as you said, that dramatic transformation occurred.
We just got to stop looking at the scoreboard. Just play. Like that, and I can't, this is now the 5th game, right? In as many games, I think, but, we're already bottom of the ladder, gentlemen. Just play. So, again, just stay to what we were doing, the adjustments we made. Again, we came out like Southeast could have whatever they wanted on the defense in the first quarter, and then they were really beating us up on the rebounds again. We went to Alex, and Alex provided a real good kickstart for us, which was good, and he provided that energy, and we got a little bit of momentum because we stayed true to what we're trying to do. And then we go, it's virtually Jekyll and Hyde, like the complete opposites. You can see it, you can feel it in the fourth, like you try and just be like, play, we're okay. But, yeah.
Do you feel that circuit breaker's not far away? Because there you go, producing some pretty good basketballing patches, aren't you?
Well, I thought it was good. I thought we were due to break it in 5 games ago. But, now it's 100% mental. Everything now is 100% mental. It's nothing to do with talent, fitness, injuries, nothing to do with that. Straight mental game now. And we have to overcome our own mental hurdles.
Do you feel, there's 11 losses in a row, do you feel an obligation to change anything? Or are you pretty happy with how things are tracking and that you will get over this hump?
What can you change?
It's a question for you.
What can you change? You're talking about changing roster? We can't do that. I don't know what change you're talking about.
We've seen teams alter rotations and things like that. Do you even think about that, or are you trusting this process?
Well, the big thing is this is now 3 games in where we've got the starting 5 that we wanted. This is the second game in a row we've had the starting 5. So you're sort of asking to change something that we haven't even really had a good trial yet. So I'm not going to change something that, hey, the starting five just come in for the last 2 games. We've been relatively in the chase. I'm not going to throw the baby out of the bathwater.
Does Antonio maybe get a few more minutes? He looked pretty impressive in the limited chances he got today.
Yeah, it was great. Who do you sub him out for?
Yeah. I'm just, would you look to, not necessarily in terms of mixing your starting five or whatever, but yeah, just the note they look quite impressive tonight.
Yeah, who do you sub him out for? Do you think like Rob should sit out more or Pete? Like, I get what you're saying.
No, I'm asking you.
Yeah.
Is it something you consider or isn't it?
Jonah's been playing like 25 minutes a game, and so I agree. But who do you sub him out for?
If it's a no, it's a no.
No, it's a question. You ask a question, I ask a question. Like, I get what you're saying, but there's minutes available. It's a 40-minute game.
Yeah.
There's more minutes not to be played than there is. If you've got a roster of 12, including a DP, you average that out, everyone's getting 17 and a half minutes a game. There's more minutes not to be played than to be played. So we felt like we're getting Rob a bit of mojo. He was flat the last couple of games. We'll get him going. We knew he was probably going to be the candidate for us in the fourth to be able to make those big plays. So we just kept going back to him.
It looked like Tanner picked up something at the end. Was that just that leg injury that's he's doing?
Yeah, I think it's just that same nagging injury, but we'll manage it.
Forde, just regardless of the rotations and things like that, you talk about it's mental now. What's something different, or is it like, trying to crack the code to break through and actually get them going, get them over this mental hump?
What do you mean?
For you, like, what's the process? What are the things that you're doing to try and get through this mental hump?
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, the big thing is, and again, this is the unique situation that we sort of created, was even as we sit here now and we talk about our position on the ladder, there's a level of motivation amongst the group, especially on an individual standpoint, is because no matter what's happening, Taryn's trying to get into the NBA, right? And Wardenberg is in this amazing purple patch at the moment, so he wants to keep building and expanding on that. There's guys with individual ambition which we want to continue to develop, so it becomes like this, like the training session's still got some juice to it because, the guys are there for the right reasons to get better. They just have to the fourth quarter is what it is. Like, we've already tightened up enough. What's the worst that's going to happen? We just keep losing. Just play. Just relax. Take those shots, and also don't ride every possession as if it's the game determining outcome. Right? We just have to keep playing the possession for what it is. But again, we'll break down the fourth and we'll talk about where we got a little bit rattled. And the main one I think about, right, was we had no trouble with their full court pickup, and then suddenly became an issue in the fourth because guys were, not in positions, and then they panicked and they thought they were doing the right thing by releasing to a position that was open, which wasn't their route, and sort of got in the way of somebody else. And so that's the level of discipline that we just need to stick to.
And you're 11-0, and obviously, I think a lot of us feel for you because of the injuries and the things that you've had to go through. What is the morale like amongst the players? What's the mood? Are they still, up and about? Are you able to kind of get them going, given how hard it is and being on this long losing streak?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing, the motivation side of things for the day-to-day is still good for the factors that I just talked about. But naturally, egos are bruised. Like, guys are feeling it. Things always, you start to doubt things within yourself. We've got some guys that are performing well, and we've got some guys who aren't necessarily performing well. And then everything becomes a little bit more, it piles on. The big thing, as I'm sort of saying with these guys, is that there's 1 billion people in China that don't know what the NBL is, right? Like, we live in this little bubble where, for the most part, they're probably sitting there on social media. The 5 dudes who run a podcast are going to start talking. Who cares, right? Like, but this is sort of what I'm getting at is like, they get to play a game. They get to play a game that you're only going to get, if you live to the ripe old age of, let's say, 80, less than 9%, 8% of your life is you get to play a basketball game and get paid for it. So, the fourth quarter is just the fun part, They just got to relax and be caught up in the moment. They'll make some plays. They won't make some plays. But I guess for our situation is what's the worst that can happen? We're losing anyway. So I think we talk about, like, being in the mud. Being in the mud was 5 games ago. Like, right now we're just in this darkness. So, how bad does it have to get before we get this carefree attitude of just saying, hey man, you're going to look back 20 years from now and you wish you could redo this season, winning or losing. So the good thing is we'll do our review. The guys will come to work because what they do, I think Alex Tui's line, I'm going to pinch it. I don't know I'm going to misquote it, but it's like they all have that same mindset of like what you're doing today is going to determine where you are in 6 months' time. And that's what these guys aren't at the tail end of their career. These guys are at the front of their career and they've got ambition. They want to get good, and that's what we nurture and build towards. So we just got to take it a little less seriously before, But again, I don't have a master's in psychology. I reckon by the end of the season I'll be close to it.
We good, guys?
Awesome.
Wrap it there.